You ever find yourself driving down the road and you see a sign that maybe says 35 miles an hour and you wonder to yourself, why? Why should this be 30 miles an hour or 35 or even a 45? I was actually driving down the road the other day and I've kind of gotten used to the 70, around here. And I get on the highway and it's 65 and it feels like that's slow. And then it slows down to 55 around the city. And I find myself asking why. But is it ours to ask why? What do you think about that? Should we ask why? Life can be quite the bending road. Sometimes it's nice and gentle, and sometimes it's a bit scary. The truth is that we will all experience a difficult bend in our road at some point. But it's also true that God will see us through. Let's travel this bending road together and help each other in our journey. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to catch other videos along the way. Welcome back to the Bending Road. Glad you could join me this week. When you see this, we will be on vacation, and hopefully we'll have some fun videos to put up of our vacation, some things we go see. We're going to just see some sights we haven't seen before, so we're excited about that. Have you ever thought about the laws, and should you ask why? Okay, so if you get pulled over for going 55 and a 35, asking the police officer why it's that speed probably is not good timing, right? And the truth is that we obey the traffic laws because they're the traffic laws, not because we agree with them or disagree with them. And I was, I was thinking about that the other day as I was traveling home from Buffalo, and I was thinking about the scriptures like Psalm 103, 17 and 18 that says, "But from everlasting to everlasting, the Lord's love is with those who fear him, his righteousness with their children's children, with those who keep his commandments and obey his precepts." The Lord expects us to obey. John 14:15, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments." It's a matter of love that we obey his commands, and that we, and it's a matter of expectation that we obey the laws of the land. I mean, nobody asks us if we agree with the law, and if you disagree with the law, we have opportunity to change it, but not God's law. Now, this is interesting. I've been reading recently. I decided to go kind of backwards and read something old. And so I was looking at C.S. Lewis, and I love the way C.S. Lewis writes it. And he has the Space Trilogy. It's 3 books in one, Out of the Silent Planet, and then Perelandra and The Hideous Strength. I'm in the middle of Perelandra right now. And I read this. Okay, so just let me back up. There is a law on Perelandra about the fixed land. Some of the land is not fixed. It goes with, like, if it was resting on top of the ocean. And there's others fixed land, and they're not supposed to live on the fixed land. They can be on there temporarily. They can cross it, but they can't stay on there. They can't sleep on there. They can't build homes on there. And they're having a discussion about why is this? Well, it doesn't really matter why that's the law. That's the law. And I probably won't pronounce this right, but Maleldil is God on that land. And one of the characters says, "I think he made one law of that kind in order that there might be obedience." A law that you can't explain, a law that it doesn't seem to matter, a law that you are asking why this is. I think he made one law of that kind in order that there might be obedience. He goes on and says, in all these other matters, what you call obeying him is but doing what seems good in your own eyes. And is love content with that? I mean, is that really love if I'm doing this because I think it's right? Is it really a matter of obeying the law because on some of the twisty, turny roads in this area, it says it's 55, but I'm only going 35? No, I'm doing what seems right in my own eyes. I'm not necessarily obeying the law. That's not a respect for the law. It's what I think is best. And he goes on and says, you do them indeed because they are his will, but not only because they are his will. Where can you taste the joy of obedience unless he bids you do something for which the bidding is the only reason? I love that, and I've been just really thinking about that. And I was thinking about that in light of the 10 Commandments. So we have certain, the first 4 commandments. You shall have no other God before me. You shall not make any graven image. You shall not take the Lord's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Those are kind of the laws I put in a category because he said so. That's why. There is the one about honor your father and mother, and we do that because it seems right to us, but also because we can find all sorts of excuses if we decide not to. Well, they weren't good parents, and it's vague. What do you mean by honoring? We can kind of, we can kind of play with that one a little bit, and I think we do. I'm not suggesting we do it. I'm saying we do it. And you can't really prove if I'm honoring them. I'm doing it in my heart, my actions, I have to do these actions, but in my heart, I'm honoring them. And then there's those like the simple ones, like don't murder, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't lie, don't covet. I mean, those are things we do because they seem right in our own eyes, right? I mean, if we go back, it's because of God that we have that and because we think that. But the truth is we probably wouldn't do those things anyway, even if they weren't listed in the 10 Commandments. It's not a good idea, right? It's not beneficial to us. And we don't think that that's a good idea. And the whole do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I don't want anybody murdering me or committing adultery against me, so why would I do that to them? So it benefits us. Does that make sense to you? These are laws that benefit us. But then you go back to the first 4. You shall have no other gods before me. Why? Why not? Right? You shall not make any carved images. Well, why? Maybe it helps me, if I have a little image of God that I can remember to worship you. No, he says don't do that. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Little vague in our day and age, and well, why is that a problem? And why remember the Sabbath and keep it holy? Now, I believe that commandment is actually more about us, that's a gift that God has given to us, and we need to honor that gift. But that was a sermon for a couple weeks ago. But I think in these 4 cases, we get caught in this little trap of, well, why do we have to do these things? And who's going to know anyway, right? They don't hurt anybody. We may say that the law doesn't make sense, it doesn't hurt anybody, or it only affects me, or it's not the law of the land, right? That's not really that nobody's going to arrest me if I make a little carved image. And it only makes a difference in my life. It's not hurting anybody else. That's a big one. It doesn't hurt anybody else. But I got to thinking about these, and I think these 4 commandments are commandments for this reason only. They are for obedience sake. to honor God out of love. If we do these other things, if we don't murder, if we don't commit adultery, if we don't steal, whatever, if we don't do those, is that really love? No, because we think those are good anyway, and we would do those anyway. But out of love, we don't have any other gods. Out of love, we don't make carved images. Out of love, we don't take the Lord's name in vain. Out of love, we remember the Sabbath day and we keep it holy. I think C.S. Lewis was right on point when he said this. And in this discussion, when they're discussing whether or not you can walk out of God's will and do your own thing, which is what Adam and Eve did, and that's what started this whole mess, right? C.S. Lewis writes, we cannot walk out of Malaldel's will, but he has given us a way to walk out of our will. And there could be no such way except a command like this, out of our own will. God's law is there for a reason. God's law is there to prove our obedience, prove our love. And we can't have another way. There's no way around that. God says this is the law. This is what you shall do. He does give us a way, and I love this, to walk out of our own will. So if I desire to break any of these laws, if I don't have enough love in my heart and I desire to break these laws of God, God has given us a way to walk out of our own will, and that's through the power that Jesus won for us on the cross. That's through the power of the Holy Spirit. And if we could just do whatever we want or not do whatever we want, if we can accept or reject God's laws, then we couldn't show our love for God. I really love this quote, and I'm thinking it's one of those quotes that I print and paste on the wall in front of me. I think he made one law of that kind, the kind that you just obey because he says so, not because it makes sense to us or because it has any other impact on life. I think he made one law of that kind in order that there might be obedience. In all these other matters, what you're calling obeying him is but doing what seems good in your own eyes also. Is love content with that? Is that love? You do them indeed because they are his will, but not only because they are his will. Where can you taste the joy of obeying unless he bids you do something for which his bidding is the only reason? I think I remember having conversations like this with my kids when they were young. You know, would you go and, I don't know, take the trash out? We'll use take the trash out. Well, why today? Why does it have to be done now? Because it needs to be done. It's stinky in there. Go take it out. Well, I don't want to. I got these other things I need to do. And you go through that argument over and over, and you finally get to the point where you're saying, could you do it just because I asked you to? Could you do it without asking why? And I think of all of the commands through the scriptures, all of the things that Paul lists in the lists of sins, and the read through Leviticus, all of the laws and the rules there, and we ask, well, why? Why? That doesn't seem so bad, God. That doesn't seem like such a problem. Why don't? Could you just do it because I told you? I mean, maybe God has a reason. Maybe God doesn't have a reason. Maybe God just wants you to do it. Maybe it's good for you. whatever the case, obeying that which we agree with, just only that which we agree with, is not obedience. That's why it says if you break one of these laws, you've broken them all. You have broken the law. I don't care which one. You've broken the law. And I think we need to be a little more aware of that. I think we need to spend a little more time with that and say, God, what are the laws that I'm questioning? Or what are the laws that I'm breaking, that I'm not even paying attention to anymore, that I don't even realize it's a law? Lord, give me wisdom about that. Show me what I need to do so that I can love you best. I want to love best the one who knows me most and loves me the best. I don't know if I've encouraged you or given you more to think about or caused you a little distress this week. Again, I just fell in love with that quote from that book. And if you haven't read them, check them out. I'm really enjoying the stories. I don't know if I read these when I was a kid or not, but I'm not recalling them, so I'm enjoying the stories. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you next week along the Bending Road. It was great to have you join me today along this Bending Road. You can connect with me on social media or on my website at bendingroad.weebly.com. I would love to pray for you as you navigate the bends in your road. Remember, when you see the bend in your road, do not be afraid. Take the hand of God and keep walking. You are not alone.